Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So, in today's video, let's have a talk about the supermassive dungeon nerf and some of the changes that basically happened in patch 1.3.10. Now, let's start off with the biggest thing. The HP of the mobs in a squad that is 2 to 4 has basically been adjusted. It's been turned into an easy mode. I ran this before with Bunny and I ran this after with Bunny. I noticed a significant decrease in terms of what I experienced. Now, I wanted to just say this because I can completely understand. I play this game basically for a living, and I know that a lot of people will not be even close to where I am in terms of completion, in terms of everything, right? But honestly, nerfing these dungeons at this point is getting kind of ridiculous. You've introduced ancestor mods that completely annihilate any form of justification, balance, or any reason to nerf, because even you can just take a simple build that's not even completed, slap a good ancestor mod on it, and it can complete like content that's like 3 tiers higher than it should be, right? But this is the first thing I wanted to talk about. I don't like the fact that this dungeon was released on the 6th of November, and at the time of recording, a nerf was announced on the 10th of November and implemented on the 13th of November. It's not good that you don't ever give your community time to adjust to the content. At this point, I don't even bother telling people to take time, invest, and build up towards making a build to ratio the new content, because give it a week and you're gonna nerf it anyways. And it's sad to see that, especially in this supermassive receptor dungeon out of absolutely everything. The main reason I say that is, well, specifically because there is no minimum entry requirements. The mobs are level 340. The boss has a very high HP stat and a lot of defense and skill resistance as well. But the biggest thing is there is no minimum entry requirement. I feel like even at this point, when it comes to this dungeon specifically, or anything above level 300, you should kind of, well, implement a minimum entry requirement. The same entry as the trigger mod would be honestly fine. 10 catalysts on your descendant and a trigger mod, and if level 40 arcade tree should be the bare minimum. If you want to take it up a step further, 10 catalysts on the weapon that you take into the dungeon as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that at this point, nerfing the game is not a priority, and just conforming to the people that want nerfs at this point is just taking the piss, especially because this is not meant to be beginner content. This is literally the end game content. Even Legion of Breach inside of Axion are only level 190. The new dungeon is level 340. That's like almost double. And at this point, whenever players who have been playing the game for a while get a new content drop, we fucking love the dungeon. Myself included, a lot of my viewers who usually watch my streams and stuff like that also massively do enjoy hanging out with this. And honestly, it's sad because we can only enjoy this for a few days before it kind of gets torn down. Now, they did increase the amount of resources that dropped as well. The resources I didn't have too much of an issue with because I had genuine fun running the dungeon, but I can understand why they'd turn these up. They also added the sword materials for the Shadow and for the Deus into Axion planes and into Sigma sector. This is something I think is okay, because let's be real, the biggest problem with these developers is that they keep implementing temporary solutions for permanent problems. As an example, the event that will be coming in December is a shining example of that. Lit Cosmos, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. But basically, a shining example of that is the event coming in December. They will allow you to buy keys for the vessel, but after December goes and someone comes and joins the game and they want to get the Deus or Shadow, they're back to running vessel jail. At least this kind of allows people to run other missions, so I will take that as a W overall. I will respect it, and I can think that this is a step in the right direction. It's a good change. Another thing is that they allowed ancestor mods to basically be dropped from commanders inside of Axion and in Vessel with a 0.1 and 0.2% chance. That's fine, it's a low chance, I can live with that, that doesn't really make much of a difference. Harris as well. Now, it amazes me how when it came to Harris, they buffed or did whatever to focus supervision time, right? But the bigger thing I want to talk about with Harris is going to be the defense stuff. I'll come back to that shortly. Ice Mick, I'll also talk about weapons shortly as well. Just give me like a few minutes, bro. Okay. The swords. Shadow has a base sprint speed of 800 and has a 30% modifier, same with Deus and Hypernova. Now, if for whatever reason you thought it was intended that Haley should reach the same speed as Bunny, you are absolutely tweaking. The developers did go on their own live stream and literally made Twitter posts about it and everything that Bunny should kind of be the fastest. So, for anyone to say that it was intended that Haley could reach that sprint speed is absolutely delusional. Just for reference, Haley is not the only character that could have done it. Ines, Freyna and Viesa could all have reached that speed cap as well. A lot of other descendants, as in that video that I made last time about it, can all reach the speed cap. The main thing is that nobody decided to use the swords because the swords were borderline irrelevant before this update. Nobody needed the sword or the Deus to nuke the Pattern Flores boss because, well, she just wasn't in the game. Nobody was using it in dungeons or keeping an eye on the speed count with the sword because, well, they didn't buff the sword sprint speed until about 2 weeks ago. And within that time period, nobody bothered using the swords anyways. It was there before, but we just noticed it now because of a specific buffing ability with Haley that gives her more speed. Haley's sprint speed at 1440 is perfectly fine. It's not a bad sprint speed at all, and I know you're just going to look at it as in a I'm a Bunny player rubbing it in your face, but trust me, if you wanted Haley to stay at 1600, the only other option would have been for them is to buff Bunny up to 1800. And I promise you, that is literally the last thing that you want. If you don't understand how Bunny works, Bunny scales on speed. You can buff Bunny's abilities, but the moment you buff her speed, her damage output will amplify significantly. Her third ability with the lightning ring, if you use it on a bike, jump off and grapple, you'll see the ticks become constant, well, because, you know, the ticks are just, I just got booted out of TFD, GG's, but the ticks will become constant, specifically because, well, she's moving at more than 7 meters a second. If you buff Bunny's speed from 1600 up to anything, she will tick faster, doing more damage, spreading her abilities better, and overall become more of a menace. Now, a lot of people hate the way Bunny works already. Giving her more speed will, one, ruin the pacing of the game even harder. It's mostly a case of once you go 1800 or 2000 speed on a sprinting character, you don't want to go back down to 1400 or something like that. Haley's speed is completely fine where she is. Buff Haley, make her range slightly better on her 4, make her one shoot slightly faster, which was the main point of my last video in case you missed it, and honestly, buff her sniping build because the piercing light should not be stronger than the zenith. Other than that, Haley will be getting plenty of buffs when her ultimate form comes out because ult's always getting 2 new red modules and so on and so forth, so Haley will still be getting more buffs. You don't need to worry about that. A quick director comment from Minseok Ju does basically say, yep, this was unintentional because it's about Bunny's speed identity. So yeah, it's turned into a melee sprint speed modifier as originally designed. Only Bunny can reach a sprint speed of 1600. Trust me, it's for the better. Even if you hate me, you have to acknowledge how Bunny works. Then they fixed some FPS stuff and fixed an issue where Wall Crasher could be summoned multiple times. I don't know whether there was another Wall Crasher loop or what, but yeah, that was a major thing. I fixed the issue where Harris would fucking fly through the terrain, but don't worry, they replaced that. Now if you use Harris's second ability or grapple into using Harris's second ability, you can just fucking walk in the air because, you know, Serena exists and why not. Other than that, the Harris defense bug thing, it wasn't really a bug, it was intentional design for Harris to amplify her defense up to 900,000 and then using the battering ram strip literally everything. If the developers decided to respond to Serena being as fucking nuts as she was at the same time or same speed as they responded to Harris being nuts, this game would be a better game overall. I don't think that I think it was a very good thing that they responded to Harris, but now it's kind of a, we respond out of fear of creating another Serena or creating something that's broken again, more so than we care for the sake of caring about the game. Now, they've also fixed a bunch of small things here and there, some issues, and I've been lagging incredibly hard. The servers are made out of mashed potatoes at this point, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, it's cool. They've fixed some stuff and added some UI changes and stuff like that. And the best thing is that this is still not even actually the this is not even the mid-season or mid-month update. This is just a hotfix. So we've got another update coming in a week that's going to allow trading into the game. So I'll just give you a quick bit of info about that. Trading will be implemented on the 20th of November, but will only be trigger mods. Then on the 4th of December, they will allow you to trade ancestor mods. That's pretty much with it, everything with trading. But I just wanted to give you guys a bit of info about these patch notes. I dislike the nerfing element and stuff, and at this point there's so much power scaling and power in the game. If you do not have the time to play the game, you should not be able to access the absolute highest level of content. There is nothing wrong with playing a bit of an earlier part of the game to build up to that, but if you've just come back after 4 or 5, 6 months of not playing the game and you run this dungeon, you're gonna get your ass handed to you like you're a victim and Diddy is the offender. So trust me, just build up to it, man. There's nothing wrong with it, and please just don't rush into new content if you're not ready for it. There's nothing wrong with using a build from YouTube. There's nothing wrong with having a look or asking for help in this game if you can't do something. Even if you hate a farm, for example the farm for the Deus, you can now do it in Axion and Sigma. It's significantly worse to do it there, especially time efficiency, but it is possible. Put your time into the game and you will truly be rewarded, and you'll enjoy yourself more once you've got that 1 or ideally 2 overpowered setups. If you want advice on which descendant to build up, I'd highly recommend Glay. She's truly the one does all character. Same with Serena as a gunner. If you want a skill descendant, Bunny is literally your best option. Haley is another absolute top tier option. Ines and Freyna are very, very capable mobbers as well. Jaber is a solid option too. There's a lot of very, very good characters in this game, and every character is literally capable of everything. So please take your time and invest in it. I'm not making this video to shit on Nexon, but please consider some of the things I've said in this video. But anyways guys, that's been this video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button, and if you're new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the First Descendant, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.